All right, everybody, welcome to another Run.down. Following the Knicks game. Knicks lose this game to Oklahoma City, 129-120. There's a lot to talk about. Here we're joined with Swin, joined with Khan as well. Very interesting game. I have it. You're ready. I can just.
Well, before we get started, just so you guys know, Bet Online is our ad sponsor. All the major sports are in action this week with the college football players ready to kick off. Bet Online is your number one destination for all your sports wagering info, including news for pro football, the NBA, upcoming fights, and NHL games this season. Head to the website today to get into the action and see all the updated odds for the week. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. Yeah, I mean, start wherever you want, but I actually
deport him. Deport him.
Yeah, actually, before we do the whole RJ thing, I want to just say one thing. The first half of this game, a positive thing actually. The first half of this game is everything that I'm terrified of seeing about Julius Randle in any kind of high stakes game against a high quality opponent. That was what this first half was, and I thought him bouncing back the way he did in the second half was awesome. The way he started the second half was awesome, where he wasn't just demanding the ball and trying to get himself going. He actually was telling Brunson and Hartenstein, he was pointing at them to pass over to the weak side. His defense was way, way better. And yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way because I was genuinely really, really impressed by it. And I know that that's not going to be the primary story of this game for obvious reasons, but I did want to shout out Julius Randle because I thought his second half was obviously you'd like him to do it for a full game, but he's one of those guys where when he has a bad half, sometimes he just doesn't snap out of it. He can't do that, and he spirals. And this was the opposite of that. So I just wanted to give him a lot of credit for that. I thought it was really, really impressive.
I'd also say, I think Josh Hart needs flowers for what he did today. He put in a lot. He put in the hard yards, as Schwinn likes to say. Mm-hmm. Defense on SGA. He got some crazy offensive boards that he housed multiple people for. Lou Dort couldn't bang with him. And yeah, so we're gonna get into a lot of stuff. I just wanted to give
this is unfortunate. This never happened. Sorry, Oscar NBA. Never happened. Yeah, I don't really. I'm not. We're not doing the thing where you pull out receipts from 2 years ago. Do you want me to pull your Sharif Cooper receipts, which I never did? We don't need to do that. We don't talk about Sharif Cooper. We're not pulling receipts right now. All right. Yeah, no, look, RJ Barrett was. It's not that he was bad tonight. It's that he's just been bad for what? After the first 7 games of the year, he's mostly been bad. He's been bad for. I mean, look, I don't even want to get into the semantics of bad, good. What is he? He has not developed in the way that you would have ever hoped for. Okay, he's better at one discrete skill right now, which is free throw shooting. That's
couldn't even do that tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't a good free throw shooter tonight. But in general, and tonight was just it kind of drove home how little improvement we've seen from him because the free throw shooting wasn't good. You know what I mean? He's had nights during this little slump he's been in recently where he's 3 of 10 from the field, but he still gets 11, 12 points. And you're okay, you live with that. But tonight was just oh, I forgot what this was like. This sucks a lot. And yeah, I mean, on top of it, I have no idea why the fuck he came back in the game in either half. He was terrible tonight. It's mind-boggling to bring him in that situation unless you're trying to the only two reasons possible is that Tibbs is trying to basically just see, got it, this is what it is, or he just genuinely doesn't give a shit. I don't see Tibbs as a 3D chess guy, but it's possible. I don't know, but he was awful tonight. So go ahead, Tyrese, because you've been on this for a long time.
He has been the worst NBA player for 3 freaking years in a row. Why is this even a conversation? Why did anybody think this was going to work? He's fat, slow, unathletic, and he's Canadian. This was never going to work. This was never going to work. Anybody who was oh, the leap. He is leaping off into a bridge. That's where the leap happened. He was up here, and now he's all the way down here. He has cratered. He has fallen. He has plateaued. Whatever you want to call it, it's year 5, and he stinks. He's not good. I don't understand what we're doing here. I'm so lost as to how people thought he was somehow going to be better. Oh, his playoff run was great. He was the same dude in the playoffs. The same dude. The same true shooting. They lost with him on the court.
Yeah, but what if I told you everybody has to sacrifice, Tyrese?
What is he sacrificing? You know what he needs to sacrifice? His green card. I don't understand why he's
okay. Actually, I'll tell you what made this game maybe even more frustrating for me than any RJ game this season specifically. He started off horribly, like it was a bad start for him. He comes back in the second quarter, and all of a sudden, he does this amazing thing. And you want to know what the amazing thing is? When he drove, he was actually spraying the ball out to shooters on the perimeter, and the Knicks got good.
Quick.
Yeah, but he got good quality. We got good quality offense out of that. Got good quality offense. I think we got 2 threes out of it. It was legitimately good. It was legitimately impressive. And you're like, wow, this could all be so easy. This could all be so easy because in terms of natural passing ability on the team, I think he's the best natural pass. Like his actual talent of passing the ball is the best. He just doesn't choose to do it nearly enough or see it or whatever it is. And when you see that, and then in the third and in the fourth quarter, it just reverts to he gets tunnel vision again. And then it's on top of that, he's bricking threes again. And it's just dude, what the fuck? You can't even get Quick is on fire. Okay. And we'll get to Brunson too. And who I thought was I don't know what was going on with him in the second half, but he just was trying to do way too much. But he is quickly's on fire. Why can't you just accept that and play off of that? And the best part, Quickly created for him multiple times. He just couldn't cash them in. But he created for him multiple times. He created for him that open corner 3, a couple of them. And it's just holy shit, what the fuck are you watching out? What? And then for him to come back in when he did was it 4 minutes left? The game was it a 9-point game at that time?
It was. And he almost turned it over straight off the inbound.
He did turn it over straight off the fucking inbound. He basically put Hartenstein in a position right where he turned it over. And
then they came down and he bricked the 3.
Yeah, and it was just it's ridiculous to watch him. It's just there's such a lack of understanding. When I watch, all right, if you watch Emmanuel Quickly, I don't know what exactly you can point at certain skills he's gotten better at, but I think the biggest thing he's gotten better at is just he understands the game better and makes better decisions, which is one of the biggest things you want to see from a young player as they're developing on top of skill development. With RJ Barrett, I'm your decision making is the same. If you go and you search NBA, go honestly. Anybody in the chat wants to go and do this? Because we did this exercise in our Discord today. If you go to NBA.com stats and search players by drives, volume of drives, go do that, and then sort them. So sort the number by volume, and then look at field goal percentage, and then look at pass percentage. And what you'll see is that of the lowest field goal percentage players, RJ Barrett right now is by far and away the lowest passing volume player. So he is passing out of drives at I think it was, what was it, 26%? It was 26% of drives going into tonight. Of the other shitty, horrible finishers in the league on drives, I think Monk was the second worst. He's passing out on something 48 or something like that. So it's a ridiculous, the discrepancy isn't, you can be bad at finishing or you can be bad at passing out. When you're bad at both, you are fucking yourself and you're fucking your team. And it's just happening too often. And then tonight you saw the other part of it where it's just how can you live with this guy who when he doesn't shoot well, he does nothing for you. Look, Randall hasn't shot the 3 well, right? For most of the season. But guess what? He's okay, I'm just going to be awesome inside the paint. And I'm going to be better at playmaking than I've ever been. And he adds things even when he's not shooting well. When RJ Barrett's not shooting well, he's not an efficient paint finisher. He's not a great playmaker. He's not a high volume playmaker. And he's not at best, he's what, a neutral defender? I think that's like fair to say that at best he's a neutral defender. Like, so it's just it's brutal. Like, his entire value is derived from what he does with the ball, but you have guys that are better with the ball. So what is the like? And then on top of it, you're sacrificing Quickly's minutes to accommodate RJ Barrett. You're sacrificing, and not just Quickly. Tonight, you could have made a great argument for Grimes to get more minutes. Grimes,
DiVincenzo.
Yeah, DiVincenzo. All these guys actually did shit tonight. I'm not saying they were perfect. You know, DiVincenzo got roasted by SGA, whatever. Like, all these, nobody was perfect, but they gave you something. Like, they gave you something tangible, and RJ tonight just didn't. And I'm sorry, it's just like, at the end of the day, the guy's getting paid $27 million. Like, that's what I need. $27 million of production consistently. And I can't just keep being like, well, he's only 23. He's only 23. Wait, this time. It's been long. I think we've been pretty like, this is a pretty long enough into his career to have real feelings about it. And like, I don't know. I'm just so over this conversation because it's like, there is no conversation to me. Like, the entire conversation only still occurs because of the playoffs. And I personally just don't know how valuable RJ Barrett's contributions really were in terms of like what was achieved during this playoff run.
If that playoff run didn't happen, which, by the way, Tyrese, you can speak to this more than I can. Pretty much every bit of production he gave you was off of Brunson and Randall's gravity. Majority Brunson, because Randall did sprain his ankle and whatnot.
Yeah.
So the threes, still catch and shoot. They were not off the dribble. The drives were beating closeouts. Like, he wasn't doing stuff. He wasn't beating a defender, you know, who squared up with him and getting to the paint. He wasn't doing any of that stuff. The passing was a little bit better in the playoffs. I don't know what's happened to it. Like Schumann said, he is a objectively good passer when he keeps his eyes up. When he sees bodies, he just panics and puts up some random bullshit.
Bro,
Like,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. But
you're good.
The SNY Knicks videos account, their last tweet they sent out was Quickly's last three. And the caption is, what if I told you Emmanuel Quickly got subbed out after this? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just mind-boggling. And Eric Rogers said this in the chat. He said RJ needs to hit 10 plus free throws when he's not shooting well, just for his game to be okay. The problem with this, bro, is RJ is not going to get 10 plus free throws when he gets no respect from the refs because he's playing like shit. It's just, we see it every game. We see good players who don't get that type of respect from the refs. How many times does Randall get smacked in the face? Granted, he went to the line a lot today. There's players who are legitimate all-stars who don't shoot 10 plus free throws a game. And I'm supposed to think that RJ can just will his way there when he's having a dog shit night? No, man. He's not skilled enough for that. We saw Quick catch Chet Holmgren on a pump fake and get 2 free throws off when the offense was stagnant. When has RJ ever done that? He doesn't have that ability. This is not some crutch to lean on with him. And even when he makes it, or even when he makes it to the line, he has one season shooting over 80%.
That fucking transition drive, that transition one. First of all, he did a jump step there, right?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to summon the Patrick Ewing video of being like, when do you practice that? When do you shoot that? I've never seen him do a jump step before. I've never seen that once, especially in fucking transition. I really needed. I was like, there's just no way for me to make this work. But I was like, man, that Ewing video would be perfect right now because that was crazy. And it was like, wasn't Randall right there with him?
Yes.
And it's like, this is the second game in a row. And you know what makes this game like to the point? He subbed him in at the exact same point against the Bucks. And I think we were up 14 or something like that then. And in my head, I was watching this with my sister and my brother-in-law, and I'm like, what the fuck is Tibbs doing? They're like, dude, you're up 14, like the game's over. I'm like, you don't get it, like Quickly's plus minus, and you don't understand, like, and they're like, dude, you're going crazy for no reason. And then by like 2 minutes later, they were like, damn, maybe you were on to something. But it's like, we saw this play out. We already saw a game, like the last game, you put him in up 14 with 4 minutes left, and that still got too close for comfort. And he made he made two dumbass decisions in transition, which he got bailed out on one because Portis is a moron. But like, he ran over Middleton when he had Hartenstein open for a dunk, right? And then like, it's the same thing today on that transition play with RJ, and then it's the same thing today in the sense of you brought him in. Yeah, it's not you're actually down instead of up, but you're in the game. You've got a shot. 9-point leads. And when do you guys watch the Knicks with a 9-point lead and you're like, oh, this is over? Like, never. And so, like, the game was there. Like, you still had a shot. And to take out your hottest player to put in a guy who's been ice cold basically for like the last month minus the first half of the Bucks game is fucking crazy. Like, I have to believe this is like some weird thing of like, I don't know. I guess I'd like to believe that Tibbs is like trying to like force the front office to like let him bench him or something. I have no idea, but you can't. This is not tenable anymore. This is just it's unless RJ makes a significant turnaround. This is completely untenable. You have players that are outperforming him nightly. You have a guy who's outperformed him for what, like at least
4 years.
The last
3 years.
At least the last 3 years, right? Or 2 years, let's just say.
Yeah.
Two plus years counting.
Rookie year Quick was still not as good as second year RJ.
RJ hit like 7,000% from three that year. Whatever. But like, so okay, the last 2+ years counting. And you're asking him to sacrifice, and not only asking him to sacrifice, you're asking him to play less minutes than he did the night before. And I wanted to fucking slap Breen and Wally today. They were like, oh, like the Knicks defense just went on. It was so good for most of the second quarter, and then it went off the cliff when SGA checked in. I was like, you're so close. You're so close to like figuring it out. It's like detective's curse. It's right underneath your nose. But it's like every game. And like, remember you guys, I'm sure you guys remember the Heat game where we came back from 20. Like fucking Doc Rivers on the broadcast, and he's like, man, you can just feel it when Quickly comes in the game. The energy changes, and it's like him and Josh Hart, like they do change the energy of games, and they give us something that is real and it's tangible, and it's more than anything, it's actually complementary to our best fucking players. Like this is the fundamental problem, right? RJ is not a good complement right now to Brunson or Randall, and he's not good enough with the ball in his hands to force them to be better compliments to him. And you can sit there and tell me all day, oh, Quickly's not a star, he's not this, he's not that, Josh Hart's he's just a glue guy. Guess what? I don't give a fuck. Those guys, all of a sudden, when we play with them, with those two, with Randall and Brunson, and pick a center, we're apparently a great fucking team. So, like, isn't that what matters? That's what matters. And to sacrifice that constantly, every fucking night, because you gave RJ Barrett a contract, and now you don't want to bench him, and he's the 3rd overall pick. It's like, I'm sorry, when you say stuff like, oh, everybody's got to sacrifice, it comes across like complete bullshit, man. It really does. Like, because to me, as far as I see on this team, there's like one guy that's really sacrificing. There's one guy that's really sacrificing.
It's Quick.
Nobody else is. Yeah, nobody else is. You could argue Grimes if you want, because Grimes is like, he kind of has sacrificed a little bit, but he was not playing well. You know, if you want to say DiVincenzo,
also,
but Quick is actually sacrificing.
Contract extension.
Right.
Nobody else is going to get paid next year. Quick is the guy who can get paid next year.
Right.
And he's the one
who hasn't been paid. Like this is what pissed, like I think what a lot of people got pissed off with last year, where it's like, okay, like RJ got paid, but like that's the point. Like he got paid, so now you can hold him accountable for stuff, right? And I just think like what do you want to do here? Like, do you want to like, I understand it's not exactly the same situation, but like Golden State benched Andrew Wiggins, and that guy helped them win a fucking championship, was a key piece of them winning a championship.
But we can't bench Jerry Brickhouse.
I'm sorry. Like, I just think that at some point, the argument for like you're protecting the asset just falls flat. And look, it's important to remember the team is 17-13. They're good. I think the real issue is like I truly believe that this team is better than 17-13 if they would optimize their lineups. And I understand like the politics of a locker room and managing an organization can be tricky, but you're getting to a point where it's like, come on, dude. Like, I mean, really, like you got to figure something out.
He's just Karis LeVert with Canadian citizenship.
Like, dude, Karis LeVert can make tough shots sometimes. I'm not here to stand Karis LeVert.
Fine. Kelly Oubre.
That's like
Darcy Kelly Oubre. Like
that's the funniest praise I've ever heard of a player. Karis LeVert can make tough shots sometimes.
I am baffled that we are at year 5, and I keep hearing about he has psycho work ethic, and he's this 1 percentile worker, and he's gonna keep trying and like yada yada blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, you are the same player every year. You're the same player every year. You just you've gained more chins than skill. Like you have more tattoos
lazy
than
ass shit in the chat.
Yeah, get up on the stage, clown. Come on.
I saw your IG story. I know you got your laptop, bum.
He's on his honeymoon. Let him rock.
That's true. Honeymoon.
Yeah, but like I'm tired of. I'm tired of Duke players infiltrating my great state of New York. I don't want anybody from Duke on this team.
I just so everybody knows, Sam is on vacation with his wife. So congrats to Sam. Everybody congratulate Sam.
Congrats, Sam. I'm definitely not hating on you internally. Definitely not.
Worst part is all his tweets are like love based now. They're so freaking. Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm gonna call that guy.
Yeah, I'm a hater. It's fine. I can hate on Sam. He's my co-host.
Tyrese, I have graduated high school and college in the span that RJ's been a Knick, and he's not improved at anything besides a floater and a free throw. Like
we've gone through a pandemic.
What is his actual percentage on the floater? Like, is it actually that much better? Because it doesn't. I don't really.
I think statistically, it is better. It's like right on the cusp of being significant. If he missed like 2 of them today, it would have been a non-significant improvement.
Yeah, I just like to go back to the psycho work ethic thing. I don't know, right? I have no idea. We don't fucking know. But what I'll say is, like, to Tyrese's point, he's gotten better. There's one discrete skill he's gotten better at, which is free throw shooting, right? Like, he could not shoot off the dribble coming out of college. He still cannot shoot off the dribble. He had no mid-range game coming out of college. He still has no mid-range game. His post-up game was extremely rudimentary coming out of college. It's still pretty.
But you know what he has now? Credit.
Yeah. It's still pretty rudimentary. He was super like left-hand dominant, which like to some degree I think is a bullshit criticism, except in terms of when he's at the rim to finish. He's still super left-hand dominant in situations where he clearly should go up with his right. He got like one of the big criticisms of him in his draft, I remember, where there were people that were like, they didn't like his processing skill on drive because they were like, he pre-decides what he's going to do. And that's why the passes pop, but you see him miss those same passes all the time because he's already decided what he's going to do when he puts the ball on the deck and he's not actually reading the floor. Maybe that's gotten better. I don't really think it has significantly, if it has. And then, like, so his 3-point shooting is basically cratered back to whatever his career average is, like 30, whatever. The hope you have for 3-point percentage is basically that his free throw percentage has been significantly better this year, barring tonight. I don't know what to make of that because there are some guys that improve their free throw percentage and never become great 3-point shooters. Also, vice versa. I think Jaylen Brown's been a pretty good 3-point shooter, but he's always been like a pretty subpar free throw shooter, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So it doesn't always mean that the other thing is coming either. And his defense has at best stayed like it's actually, to be honest, I still think his second year defensively is clearly his best year, and he's regressed since that point. Last year was god awful. This year has been okay, but nothing special. I thought tonight was a bad night for him. I thought the Bucks game again on Christmas Day was a bad night for him also. And the final piece is that the one thing we do know is that twice Tom Thibodeau has called out his work ethic in public and then had to walk it back the day after. I don't think Tom Thibodeau's called out a single other player's work ethic in his entire time in New York. I can't think of one. Even Cam Reddish. I don't remember him ever saying anything about Cam Reddish's work ethic. I don't know I don't know if that means that RJ is a bad worker. I don't know that means that RJ Barrett isn't an elite worker. But either way, improvements that fundamentally change and make him like elevate his baseline as a player and his ceiling as a player have not happened. And in that same time, you have a guy like Emmanuel Quickley who, he's not 6'6", he's not 230, he wasn't a third pick overall, but who has basically gotten better at everything you could have possibly imagined him getting better at as a prospect. Is he a star, is superstar, all-star? I don't give a fuck what he is. All I know is he is consistently better, and he's consistently good, and he consistently finds ways to complement the guys who I think we can safely say the franchise believe are the two best players, right? Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, in ways that elevate their game and thus elevate the team when they're all on the floor together. And when you have that dichotomy, it's just we've talked about this so much. I don't know what more there is to say. It's just really frustrating. And a night like tonight makes it even more frustrating because you're like, Tibbs, what the fuck are you watching? Putting this fucking guy back in the game with 4 minutes left. And why are you putting him back in the game to close the first half? Like it's and honestly, we probably got lucky that Barrett picked up his 4th fucking foul at 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Otherwise, you probably would have played at least the first 8 minutes of the quarter. So it's just tough. I saw Jeff jump in here and hop back out, so maybe I'll jump in here in a second. This is from Kenny Muir. He's more patient in the paint than earlier in his career, but what good is it if you lack touch and decision making?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Like it's just like he does not have natural athleticism that lets him be like, if he was reckless with his drives with the ability to explode over dudes, maybe you could kind of understand it, but he would have better finishing numbers as a result. He doesn't even have that. He's a craft finisher.
He can't jump off 2 feet. That's why.
Yeah, he's a craft finisher who's a slasher. It makes no sense. The only way he was going to work is if he embraced passing out of drives, and that's never been his strength.
Yeah, I hate to
from the golf course, Jeff.
I think he did.
Yeah. Wednesday's kind of my family day, so we played a scramble today, and then we had our trivia night. Nobody cares about that. Sorry to interrupt you, Con. I just literally want to say one thing. If you had told me 5 hours ago that the Zion Williamson chest tattoo wasn't going to be the dumbest thing I saw today, there's no way I would have believed you. I would have just been like, dude, you're full of shit. But somehow, keep going, Con.
I think this is interesting. I'll have to listen to it, but it's from Jordan Above. Tom Thibodeau's response is subbing in RJ Barrett for Emmanuel quickly. You're going to finish with different guys, and it's what the game needs. And you're asking guys to sacrifice. You can only put 5.
You're so full of shit, Porky.
Yeah. One, yes. But 2, I kind of feel like what he's saying is guys have to sacrifice. When he keeps getting asked about RJ Barrett, right? Oh, guys have to sacrifice.
You think he's kind of pushing and poking and prodding and being like, RJ, if you don't get your stuff together, you're going to sacrifice soon?
That's what I think. That's truly what I believe. Yes. I have a very hard time believing a guy that spent most of last season closing with Quickly and Hart, all of a sudden this year is like, no, I have to put RJ Barrett back in the game right now. Stacy was talking about this in Discord today, but he has a theory that he's like, I don't know where this sudden confidence came from. But he's Tom Thibodeau will start Emmanuel Quickly this year. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do think that is what he's hinting at. Maybe not starting Quickly, but more hey, quick sacrificing. Would you if I did this to you, how would you take it? And we saw how he took it at times last year. He had this quote.
Really?
We saw this. I don't know if you guys remember this quote in training camp he dropped, where he was like, "Oh, I'd be willing to come off the bench if need be," and I was just like, "Okay, buddy."
Real shit.
Yeah, really? Would you? But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting comment and needed to come up.
The only problem with that is there was a clear moment when he called for RJ. And it was after Quickly gave up that Jalen Williams baseline contested mid-range jumper. And that's exactly why he said it. And here's the thing. You can be nice and give Tom Thibodeau the benefit of the doubt and say he wants to play Quickly more minutes. We've been saying this bullshit for 4 years. Oh, Quickly is a Tom Thibodeau guy. No, he fucking isn't. He's a Tom Thibodeau guy because Quickly will sit and take it and be a good soldier. That's the only reason. The only reason people think he's a Tom Thibodeau guy is because Quickly isn't complaining about it, and everybody knows he should be complaining about it. Quickly should have been bitching about it 2 years ago. It's a fucking joke. Led the team by a mile in net swing 2 years ago. And everyone was like, oh, we need a point guard. Great, guys, Jalen Brunson. It's fucking awesome. The only reason people think you know what? I bet Tibbs does like him. I bet Tibbs is like, yeah, I've etched out this little role for him, this cute little bench spark plug. And fucking he just sits there and takes it. I bet Tibbs does love that, but fucking enough already. Like, do we even need to go through the data again? It's just disgusting. It's
probably even worse after. It's probably even more extreme after tonight.
Of course
it's
it is.
Gonna be extreme.
They won his minutes again because they always do. They got blitzed again when he was off the court. Like, what are we? How can you watch this team for 4 years and have no idea when you're successful? Like, how can you? And how can you as a $1 billion organization, there's got to be somebody. There's got to be somebody in there that's like, hey, this is why, like, we're fucking $1 billion sports organization. There's got to be somebody up there that's like, no, they were +2.
They were +2.
Dude.
It did come off
+2.
like
they were +2 with quickly.
I thought it came off like one of the last second shots or something. I turned the game.
Even
somebody we still count that. We still count that, bro.
Yeah, that's fair.
Of course,
okay.
Who cares?
Good agenda.
Yeah, good agenda. But no.
So
dude, there's got to be somebody in the front office that's like, we have 4 years of data, 4 years that tell you when we win.
So
and if Thibodeau responds with, I don't care, he's too small, I'm not gonna play him against bigger guys, you just fucking fire him. Like if you run a bank and some guy if you run a fucking fire station and you're like, hey, the best chance of putting out fires is this water stuff. And this guy's like, I don't know. I kind of feel like gasoline helps better. You fucking fire him. You don't say like, oh yeah, but he does some good things. He's a high floor guy. No, you fire him because he's a fucking moron who doesn't know what's going on. What is happening here? I don't understand. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Like, how could you have watched that game tonight, 22 points on 10 shots, and then watch Jalen Brunson hit a fadeaway 12-footer over Quickly's 6'10" wingspan, and been like, oh God, we need RJ Barrett out there. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, we need his length. You know, I love RJ Barrett's defensive length. He uses it so well. Like, give me a break.
So after tonight, this is for on-court rating. When Quickly's on the floor, the Knicks have a 117.7 offensive rating, 109.6 defensive rating, so an 8.1 net rating. When he's off the floor, they have a 114.
Did you just say 106, Schwinn?
109.6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh my God! Like, if it was 106, I actually would have gotten up and thrown my chair.
When he's sitting, the Knicks have a 114.4 offensive rating and a 117.7 defensive rating, a -3.3 net. Both of those are the highest respective marks on the team. Josh Hart is second, not surprising. Isaiah Hartenstein is third, also not surprising. RJ Barrett, he's getting very close to the Mendoza line of negativity. He is at when he's on the floor right now, the Knicks are at a 115.8 offensive rating, 114.9 defensive rating. That is a 0.9 net. And when he's off the floor, the Knicks they have a 116.1 offensive rating and a 112 defensive rating. That's a +4.1 net rating without him on the floor. If you do the math, that means that he has a -3.2 overall, and Quickly has a +11.3, which is, I believe now, that would be the highest mark of his career, except for maybe his second year. Who knows? But yeah.
Like, I don't understand how 15 points per game on 60 true shooting after tonight and elite two-way impact is somehow capped at 24 minutes a game. It's baffling. I don't think there's another coach in the NBA who would legitimately go, you know what? I can't play him. I just can't do it. Like 24 minutes, don't put me in a box. I'm so attached to Josh Hart minutes and RJ Barrett's contract. And, you know, I have so much pressure to make him an asset. It's like, just play the guy who is somehow, some way matching his stats from a year ago in 5 less minutes.
Dude, on the broadcast tonight, they were like, fucking Breen was like, it's amazing when you look at his numbers. They're all the same, but he's playing less minutes. I'm like, you are such a fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. And then he'll sit there 3 minutes later and talk about Tom Thibodeau wants to win. He wants to win so bad. Oh, he wants to win. Oh my God. You know who else wants to win? Every fucking coach and every fucking player who has ever played any fucking sport. That's who wants to win.
No, Schwinn, it's his will to win.
Like the will to win.
What
the fuck does that mean? Did he want to win our second year? Oh, great. You know what he did our second year? Is he kept playing fucking the corpse of Kemba Walker and Point Burks over quickly. Like, I don't care. I'm sure he wants to win, which is why when people assign all these other, oh no, he's doing this because, like, I remember his rookie year, like Bertman had this fucking insane tweet that was like, he got subbed out early. Remember he had that 31-point game in Portland? He got subbed out early in the next game. And I remember Berman had some tweet like, I like Tibbs trying to keep the young man humble. I'm like, you're such a fat fucking bald Jabba the Hutt looking fuck. Like, get the fuck out of my face with that. You know how humble you have to be outproducing guys ahead of you on the depth chart to the level Quick has and getting zero, like not seeing the reaping the rewards of that. That is so ridiculous to suggest that he's not humble. And I mean, we've seen this all throughout his career, really. Like, even at Kentucky, he came off the bench to start his second year, worked his way into the starting lineup. Like, he should be in the starting lineup by now. And not just like, not these fucking like, oh, Brunson's out, so we love you as a starter. Like, no, like, fucking start him. There's no argument for, like, what is the argument? I don't even understand what the argument is. Like, what skill? If you're like, the only argument is this. There's the only argument to me is if you were like, I want to start Josh Hart over RJ Barrett. That's it. That's the only one I'll accept. Because I will accept if he's just like, no, I like this combination a little bit more, and think Quick off the bench with Art. I could get with that one. I could get with that one. But if the argument is just like this, that's not an argument. I'm sorry, it's just not an argument anymore.
And we'll going back to the bit of Tyrese was saying, right? Like, they have, or Tibbs, I guess. I don't want to generalize with they. Tibbs has carved out this role for him where he gets 24 minutes a game. So now you've capped the minutes, you've capped the role, you've capped the usage, and I know you guys have brought this up X amount of times. You cap how good our best players can be too. I know we say with Hart how he's an amplifier and all that stuff. It's even more true with Quick. And Shwin, I know you just put that one up. Look at this one. I don't know if you saw this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I am a little fat guy going loco over dude who's won Coach of the Year twice. Thank you for watching me.
Like, you tuned in to watch the guy who you just.
I don't care about that. I guess people just forget what kind of disaster we had for teams before Tibbs got here. Yes, and I've given him credit for that plenty of times. He deserves plenty of credit for it. But guess what? He did that. That's done. Marty Schottenheimer was a phenomenal football coach at taking dog shit teams and making them awesome regular season teams. And you know what he did? Never win shit in the playoffs because he was the most conservative coach who knew only how to coach one way. And that way was really, really effective to win a lot of fucking regular season games. And if your point is Tibbs is a great regular season coach, you're not going to get any fucking argument from me. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I don't even believe, like, Tibbs can keep wheeling out this rotation out there, and this team is good enough and bought in enough and execute everything that he asks enough that they'll still be fine. I have no doubt about that. I don't think that's all about Tibbs. Do you think that, like, is Tibbs making shots for these guys too? Did Tibbs make Jalen Brunson a star? Like, there's more going on than just Tibbs, like, Tibbs is not single-handedly, like, carrying the organization out.
This isn't waving magic wand and the game's
over. He's not doing yeoman's work.
Like, he's a good coach.
This is why Twitter, honestly, like most of these recap shows, sometimes even ours. I love our show. I love what we do. I think we have a really good balance. But all this stuff is so prisoner of the moment, and it turns into two extremes. So let's just try to sift through the fucking bullshit, the extremist bullshit, and actually have a conversation here. Because nobody on this panel, not a single person, no reasonable Knicks fan thinks Tom Thibodeau is just like a pure idiot who is a terrible coach who did nothing for the Knicks. There's no person who will look you in the eye and say that. Everybody appreciates Tom Thibodeau. Everybody agrees that the Knicks turnaround starts with Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose. If you don't agree with that, I am sorry. I have all the facts. I can write a fucking essay about what Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose have done for this organization. It's time. It's been past time. It can't be about raising the floor anymore. It can't be. And I know this team isn't going to win a championship. That's okay. They have to start making decisions that could help them win a championship at some point in the future. They're not doing that. Playing Alec Burks over Emmanuel Quickley was in a lost season was a terrible decision 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago, and we're still making decisions like that. At a certain point, you have to stop thinking about what could raise your floor by the most minute level, what gives you the most safe production, and you have to start taking swings. You have to start looking for things that could take you from the 8th best net rating, the 10th best net rating in the league to a top 5 team.
We have a swing though,
piles of evidence that Emmanuel Quickley can help raise the ceiling of this team.
But this isn't even like, but actually to your point, like, I don't even think this is a ceiling thing. This is just like this is just like a play your best players more thing, because that'll do both. Like, that'll probably raise your floor.
Yeah, no, I agree, but that does. If you spin it another way, play your 24-year-old who's shown crazy good flashes more minutes, even in the midst of struggles. That's what you do. That goes directly to the ceiling. Like, Schwinn, one of the best points you've made all season, in my opinion, is when you said, why is it that Emmanuel Quickley is more than any player on the team, the guy on the team who has to each night earn his minutes? And the reason that's such a good point is because no player on the Knicks impact is less determined by their shooting than Emmanuel Quickley. Emmanuel Quickley is, aside from maybe Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson, obviously, but aside from those two guys, Emmanuel Quickley is the one guy who, if he's 0 for 8, he can still be helping you, because he does so many other little things. And it was a masterclass of that tonight. Masterclass. Forget the scoring. Forget the 23 points on 8 of 10 shooting. He was everywhere on defense. His stunting and recovering. Like, I'll go back and see how many points they allowed with Quickley playing versus when he was on the bench. I guarantee you it was skewed heavily, because he played only half the game again. So I guarantee you it was crazy. And on offense, I beg Knicks fans who have an open mind, don't just watch what's happening with the ball. Watch how often Quickley moves. Watch how he screens for Brunson. Watch how he rescreens for Brunson. Watch how he relocates. He helps you so many different ways without the ball in his hands, that if night in and night out you're saying, oh, Quick doesn't have it going, we're going to go with somebody else who does, you have no fucking idea what's going on. I'm sorry.
Well, also, like, if you played him every night, then I would actually be a lot more sympathetic to, like, oh, he doesn't have it tonight, so Tibbs is trying something else. Like, that would actually make more sense then. But when he could, like, when everything is determined on his shooting, and tonight, I will say, at one point, I was so close. I was so sure Tibbs was going to call a timeout and pull him after that turnover he had, where I think, who picked him? Was it Case and Wallace? Whoever it was, in the first half, in the second quarter. And they went on the other end. They pushed the lead up to 17. And I was like, oh, here we go. Timeout. Time to get the starters back in. And he didn't. He let them in. And guess what? They cut the lead to like 4 eventually. And it's just like for some reason he can make that decision, but he can't fathom, like, he just, like, he watches this guy and he's just like, oh my God, but Jalen Williams made a shot. I got to get him out of the game. Like, it's just so bizarre. And all the numbers speak to it. And it's on both ends of the floor, right? This is not just some, like, oh man, like I hate the Lou Williams comp, because it's like, dude, Lou Williams is not defending. It's
disrespectful to Quick, and I got heat for saying that on Twitter, and I don't care. Quick right now is better than Lou Williams ever was in his life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if it upsets you. Sorry if it offends Ball Don't Stop. Sorry if it offends your fucking grandpa who loves the old game. I don't care. Like, and I'm gonna totally redirect this discussion again. I'm sorry, Schwinn, because you were talking good shit, but Tibbs in his press conference said he pulled IQ, Jeff, like you said, after that SGA shot because he wanted more length for OKC's wings. So I looked it up. I wanted just to make sure that I wasn't going nuts and my eyes are not playing tricks on me. So I looked it up. Manu Quickley is 6'3" with a 6'8" wingspan. RJ Barrett is 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan. So, yes, he's shorter. He has 1 inch less on each arm than RJ Barrett does. And I was gonna make a joke, but I don't want to get kicked off of the show. He has a lot more inches in another place where it counts. I guess I said it. Anyway.
I don't think you get kicked off the show for that.
All right, but so, like, what he makes up with 1 inch on each arm, he's giving up tenfold with the fact that he can't slide his feet, he can't ever flip his hips. Like, you are not sticking with anybody in the perimeter, especially on a team in OKC who has so many athletes. You saw what Jalen Williams was doing on the fast break. This dude basically did what RJ did, when RJ stumbled over the ball and just fell on his face.
That was one.
and drew the charge. I don't. You said the Avs. You're a hockey guy now.
No, the Cavs.
The Cavs came back and won.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Jalen Williams did the same thing on their fast break, gets an N1 finishes, and you're like, RJ has never looked this smooth in his career, and it's been half a decade. So
have you? Oh, I'm sorry, Con. Keep going. I thought you were done.
I was just gonna wrap it up and say like there is nothing to fall back on, and he is what he is. Like I don't know what people are holding out for. There's nothing.
I know I'm the RJ sympathizer on here, and whatever, that's fine. I honestly have no interest in bashing RJ tonight. It's not his fucking fault. Like, I know he played bad tonight. That is his fault. But the substitution is not his fault. Like, it's Tibbs' fault.
Okay, this is where I completely disagree with you, Jeff. Because if you bench him, I promise you, he throws a hissy fit. He's done. Like, if you bench him for, like, we can sit here and say, start IQ over him, start IQ over him. If you start IQ over him, if you start Josh Hart over him, he is checked the fuck out. He's done. You're never getting him back on side. You're never getting him locked back in. Like,
he's requesting a trade. Like, he will legitimately go to the press and request a trade.
Dude, he bitched last year. He had like hissy fits last year when he was rightfully getting benched at the end of games. At the end of games, he had this whole fucking thing. Remember, like he was like not talking to the press after a game, and they made a big deal about it. Like, oh, it's getting to a critical point with RJ Barrett, and then like he had like Cam Reddish be his fucking little parrot talking to Bondi or something for it. Like, it's like, dude, like I'm sorry, like it is his fault. It isn't like unless he can sit there and it's actually the case that Tom Thibodeau can go to him and be like, listen, I love what you bring to the table. We love your like blah, 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 all that bullshit. But right now we need to go a different direction. The same, if he like, whatever it is, whatever that conversation needs to be, if he can do that and RJ Barrett's like, cool, you got it. I'm going to do whatever it takes for the team. It is what it is. But like, I don't buy that that's a thing. Like, I'm sorry. I just don't. This guy is not. He started every game, right? I think he came off the bench one game after an injury absence.
Yeah,
that was it. Like he started every single game. He basically like lobbied heavily to get drafted by the Knicks because he wanted to be in New York. Oh, I'm basically a New Yorker. Look at me. I'm fucking. My grandfather grew up a Knicks fan. Blah blah blah. Like whatever. Like it's all well and good. But like I don't. And I see, I get this argument. Like, I understand what you were saying, but sorry, this is, I put up the wrong one. Who cares if he's checked out? This from Chris Bernard. What's more important, him throwing a bitch fit? It's not like he's long for the team anyway, considering he's been in trade rumors for 3 years now. Yeah, here's the problem. Like, I agree with this. At the same time, I also understand, like, once you bench him, if he starts having you've telegraphed your intentions. Like right now, they can reasonably be like, "Oh no, like we don't want to trade RJ. Like he's so valuable to us," and that's like their kind of leverage. Once you bench him, that shit is over, bro. Like that's over. You can't do that. And once you bench him, I'm telling you this, like you cannot bench him and bring him back in the starting lineup. Like it is over. It's done. Once like if Tibbs actually like imagine on Friday night, Tibbs starting lineup comes out. It's Brunson, quickly, whatever, Josh Hart. Can you know what the story? If they lose that game, if they lose the next 2 games, whatever, which they could do, those are good teams they're playing. Like you know what the story is going to be. You know exactly what it's going to be, and it's just going to be this huge fucking thing, and that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. To me, this is squarely on the front office at this point. Where if they want this change to be made, then they need to make that clear.
They got to go make it.
And also, if they want to, they can. I think they should also just be able to go to Tibbs and be like, listen, dude. You can start whoever the fuck you want to start and do it. Like, quickly needs at least 28 minutes a night. I don't give a shit how you get him there, but he's got to get it. So you figure out how to do it. I don't care whose minutes you have to cut. I don't care if fucking Dante DiVincenzo gets 10 minutes and Quentin Grimes comes as a DNP CD or however the fuck you want to manage it. That's up to you. But we need 28 minutes a night for quickly. And you can look at this rotation. It's not that fucking hard. It really isn't. He's at what, 24 a night? You basically can take, if you take 2 minutes from Brunson and 2 minutes from Josh Hart, that's it right there. Even if you don't want to, if you're like, oh, I can't do anything with RJ, that's it right there. That's all you have to do. And if you can't do that, that's your problem as a coach. But the long-term situation with RJ, unless there is some major turnaround in his performance, that is on the front office. And it will continue to be in the front office as long as he's here. Because it is also getting to the situation. I mean, you watch a game like this tonight. where you're just thinking to yourself, man, if you had one more dude in place of RJ Barrett, we're better than that team. Or we're at least OG's not a dude. Get the fuck out.
Okay, fine. Any wing who like can shoot the three and play defense at an adequate level and plays up RJ with quickly starting and then wins the game. Like straight up. My argument for like years has essentially been just get random wing X. Like you could put DeAndre fucking Hunter in there. They win this game.
That's not true. Come on.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
That's
Yes,
good.
they fucking do.
Tyrese, did you really say that they're gonna bring this game up at UN meetings before World War III? That's gotta be one of the funniest things ever posted on the internet. I think.
Who posted the RJ quote?
What? No, just
there's an RJ quote.
No, not the RJ quote. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it was Tyrese talking about them subbing RJ for Quickly, and he said they're gonna bring it up at UN meetings before World War. That's legitimately one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. All right, go on, Tyrese. Good work.
Tyrese, if you said Tari Eason instead of who'd you say? DeAndre Hunter. If you said Tari Eason instead, I would agree.
At any wing, bro. Oscar Thompson, Gordon Hayward. Like we could get.
Gordon Hayward. Hell yeah. We
can legitimately get Tumani Kamara, Nasir Little,
Yuta Watanabe, like
yes, Evan Turner, Andre Iguodala.
Fuck out of here.
Andre Iguodala last year.
You can't see like you say this, and I get what you're saying, but like what team is just like, oh, we want to take a flyer on RJ Barrett right now?
Dude, I would. I mean, like at this point, dump him.
I have to be honest, Schwinn. Do you see how they talk about him in the national media? Like do you see how other teams talk about him? If you get bored tonight, go back and read Zach Lowe comments on RJ Barrett. Oh, he's like this jack of all trades who's good at everything but not
Master
great.
Of none. That's what he says.
Dude, he still has this reputation that like whatever. Like, I mean, I'm not. You know what I'm saying. I'm just saying somebody would buy.
We need to find the team that's like he's our Andrew Wiggins. He
Detroit.
Will make us. Yeah, whatever it is. But the other problem is we know that. To me, it seems pretty obvious that whatever their next move is, like, I think this is like they understand. I think they agree with you, Jeff. Like what you've talked about earlier was about you've built the floor. Now you've got to push the ceiling. Like, I think they get that. And I think, like, they're waiting for that move. My issue with that is, like, I don't know what their internal thinking is, obviously. But personally, I don't think they need to wait for a Joel Embiid. Like, I really don't. I think you get a quality player in place of RJ Barrett. This team is a dark horse. Like, they have a chance. Like, they're not that far off as far as I'm concerned. Like, honestly, I just all the numbers, like, I hate doing it, but like, look, if you want to just go look at all the Knicks' best 2-man and 3-man lineups this season, just go do that.
But Schwinn, he only has those numbers because Tibbs doesn't play him against starters and against bigger guys.
Bro, we're still in like having these conversations in year 4 where people are like, if we increase his minutes, there might be something wrong and it might mess up the team. And it's like, dude.
Well, wow, it would be terrible if we just covered that.
I know you know this off your head or close. What was his on-court net rating as a starter last year in 20 games? It was like +5 per 100, right? +4. What was Quickly's on-court net rating as a starter last season in the 20 games? It was like +5 per 100, right?
I can look it up right now. Give me a sec.
I'm pretty sure it was between 4 and 5 per 100. And I'm pretty sure in the games he started, he was averaging like 40 minutes a game. And I know for a fact in the games he started, he averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 62% true shooting with all NBA level defense. That's a fucking all-star. Like, that's legitimately an all-star right there. And the Knicks are saying
only Derek White gets that. So I don't know what the plus 100 100 possessions were, but or just as plus minus in games he started, he was a plus 4.0. And his numbers were 22.5, 5.4, 5.1 on 60.5 true shooting, and the splits were 47, 40, 84, 84.5. This is all games he started. You got to remember that he started more than a few games at shooting guard or whatever next to Brunson.
Just one. Only one.
Are you sure?
It was that Bucks game. It was that Bucks
He
game.
started against the Raptors too. Once.
There was the Raptors game, and that's it. Every other one was without Brunson. I'm like almost positive.
The Raptors game we're talking about is the one where he had the triple-double in the last game of the season, right?
No.
Yes.
No.
Like
middle of the
was
season.
He started twice against Raptors. He started at the Garden and no, he didn't start at the Garden. You're right. Never mind. But he did start in Toronto. So 2 games at least. I know he started in place of somebody else. Anyway, the point being, his number as a starter, very good.
Yeah. Schwinn, has this always been your header? This quickly keeping it?
I stumbled across that when I was cleaning up some bookmarks a few months ago, and I thought it was a good header. I can read it.
Read it for the people.
So this is the Berman tweet I was referencing earlier, by the way. It's such a ridiculous tweet. Quickly scored 31 against Portland in the last meetup. Thibodeau went entire first quarter now with Peyton. Quickly didn't see action. Like it. Tibbs definitely trying to keep this kid humble with all the hype. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about?
Just stupid, bro.
Doesn't Quickly thank only God after every time he plays well?
Dude, quick.
And his coaches and his teammates and then he'll be like, shout out Nitrese, who is his mom.
There has to be something. There has to be something we don't know. Quickly, maybe everybody on the team just hates him. Maybe he's actually a huge asshole.
Tibbs is a really staunch Jim Crow supporter.
What if they got in Godfather 2 where they catch the senator with the dead hooker? Well, they don't really catch him.
Yeah.
They set him up. Maybe that's what happened. Oh, this guy is really good. We need to find a way to keep him for cheap. But this is pretty funny. EJ1 Schwinn, that theory heavily relies on Randall pouring the playoffs. Don't tweet yourself, bro. Here's the thing. I'm trying to view this from the way the front office is. I think that they 100% believe Brunson is a dude, which they should believe. But he's not a 1A. But yeah, whatever. He's a dude. And I don't know if they believe Randall is for 100%. But my point when I say this is look, if you want to play out the year, fine. But if this offseason comes around, and let's say Randall has a good playoffs, you can't sit there and it can't be oh, well, Embiid didn't come on the market, so now we're going to wait for Luka, or we're going to wait for Booker. Or no, you can't do that anymore. You can't. I'm sorry. You've got to make an actual move. And I don't care what the hell it is, but it's got to be a real move. So, but I agree. Yes, the Randall of it all is very, very scary.
I forgot to
even if Randall is just a man.
If he's 20 PPG on 55 true shooting, dude, that's all.
How much? Yeah, exactly. Tyrese's point. I can't believe that I'm about to say it, but if he's this good in the regular season, does it really matter if he's not a playoff riser? It probably does, but I'm just thinking out loud. I'm not expressing a certainty.
Also, that
isn't this also more of a kind of a easily translatable game that he's playing in the regular season this year to the playoffs?
I have to say one thing. I have to say one thing about that, Con. Randall, I love that he's become this inside-out force. I love that he's using his rare gifts to just basically bully people. He's got to start fucking shooting off the catch when he's open, dude. It's gonna drive me absolutely insane. He refuses to shoot when somebody else passes him the ball. He's open all the time, and he just lights assists and open shots on fire for worse ones. That's the shit that hurts you in the playoffs, because getting open shots is really hard in the playoffs. And that's the type of stuff that compounds on itself and is the stuff that makes you say, oh, that's why he gets worse in the playoffs. Oh no, I actually need to jab step and take a sidestep dribble because that's me more in the field. No, dude, just shoot off the catch. Somebody get him in the gym and throw him a bunch of passes and shoot off the catch. It's insane. And the irony of it is, and this is the same with all these guys who refuse to shoot off the catch. Luka Doncic, who's gotten better at it. James Harden has gotten better at it, but he used to be awful with this. LeBron gotten better at it, but he used to be awful with this. All of these players would be fucking furious if a teammate of theirs passed up an open three that they created for them so that they could take a dribble into a more difficult shot. And Randall's the same. Randall's always drawing double teams, always finding kickouts. And if somebody passed on an open three to pump fake and sidestep and create a tougher shot, Randall would hate it. But he does it all the time to his teammates, and that
was my assist, bro. That was my assist.
It's just that and that was not like Randall hate. I fucking love it. I like Julius Randle's been great. That is just that one thing. That is a huge corollary of the postseason, and he needs to improve there.
I agree with that, but I mentioned this. This is actually you'll be proud of me, Jeff. I started off with a very positive Randall comment to start this all. I was really encouraged by the second. I just thought this game was great for him because he sucked so much ass in the first half, and I was like, oh man, here we go. And then the second half, he was great. Like, genuinely, everything about it was great. So to see that was really, really positive. And it's like, it wasn't just, it's almost, like, to your larger point, yes, he needs to shoot threes, but it was almost good to see him not, like, it wasn't just like, oh, hot perimeter shooting. Like, he actually was making smart decisions. And even when he attacked the rim, this was not like, bull in a china shop Randall. This was like a lot more under control. He used his size really well. And I just thought he played really, really. I mean, that second half was as good as any half he's played this season. It was that good.
Yeah, and the point you make there about the macro process being more important than the micro shooting is everything. That, to bring it back to RJ Barrett, that's why it bothers me so much when he has like, a 9 for 15 game, shoots well from the perimeter, and all the usual suspects show up on the timeline. They're like, oh, where you at? Where you at? And I'm like, dude, like, was he really good this game, or did he just shoot hot? Can we at least try to have like an open-minded, nuanced conversation? Because like what made RJ so promising before the migraine stuff was that it wasn't just hot shooting. Yes, the hot shooting was a part of it, and I guess we should have like thought like, okay, when the shooting goes away, is the other stuff going to go away? But the other stuff was there with it, and all that seems to be dissipating. It's really frustrating, and that's why I don't get as hyped when he has a hot shooting night or a hot shooting start, because it's like, dude, like you have to do everything well. Scoring isn't the most important thing. It's about the overall process.
I just want to say this because this is funny. So Zach and Tej, right? Tej put the compilation of all the Quick's buckets, and then Zach quote tweeted it and said 95% of the league would be throwing a fit to the media if they were stuck in the same situation that Quick is in a contract year. He's a one-on-one talent, true professional, yada yada. And then Quick's aunt retweeted Zach, basically complaining about Tibbs and calling Tibbs an asshole. So
I mean, it's what it is. Like, it doesn't. I mean, look, it's what it is. He won't say anything because he's apparently like the most professional basketball player to ever exist.
He's a choir boy.
Yeah, but like, you look. I don't know what the hell the Knicks have done to deserve such a player being this willing to sacrifice, but like, this is absurd. I'm sorry. Like, that game tonight was. Where did he play on Christmas? He played 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, he's scoring a fucking point a minute. Like, what? I don't want to hear about guys got to sacrifice, because that implies that other guys are earning it. Like, is that not earning it? Like, what is he? I need to understand. Like, I want Tom Thibodeau to lay out the like definitive rubric of what, like Tom Hanks Saving Private Ryan voice, earn it. Like, what does he have to do to earn it every fucking night? Is like, I need to know. Like, is it like, oh, you got to score this on this many shots, and you have to play this much defense? Like, it just, I don't understand what earning it means. And then meanwhile, like, which I don't, by the way, I don't even mean this as criticism, because I get, like, this is actually how it should work for your best players. Randall can piss and shit himself for a half, and it's like, everything is good, let's go. That's how it should be. He's one of your best players, right? Great. So you trust him that over, hey, if I give this guy 35 minutes, more often than not, he's going to deliver for me. And like Brunson, right? I thought Brunson played a pretty bad second half, I'm going to be honest. That stretch at the end of the third quarter was ridiculous to watch. Where it's like he hit quickly for an open three, and then the last two possessions of the quarter, he was like, yeah, that was cool, but fuck that. Like, I'm trying to get buckets now. And then
Can we talk about? I mean, since Quickly's size is the main discussion, can we talk about him saving 2 points at the end of the third quarter?
Yeah.
He's the team's best guard rim protector. He's their best transition defender. He does that all the time. It's really weird actually how frequently he stops 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. He has great instincts and he uses his length really well. And that was just another example of it. And how is that not stick in your memory?
It's so stupid. And it's I can't really I've really tried hard this season to not talk about this as much because it's it'll drive me fucking insane. But tonight is a game where it's I don't really know what else you can fucking talk about because I thought I can sit and talk about Randall stuff and I thought Brunson had some nice moments and whatever, but dude, I cannot fathom coaching that game and being oh shit, there's 4 minutes left in the first half. All right, well, when I drew up this with my game plan back in fucking August for this game, I had RJ subbing in here, so it's time for that. I just don't understand how you can coach like this, and I honestly don't understand how. There's no way in that locker room. Forget just Quickly. You think their guys know, man? They know. They're not stupid. You think there's a reason why when Cam Reddish got benched last year, everybody was just kind of okay,
you hear Brunson and Randall talk about each other in the team, and they're always yeah, Randall the guys, and then Randall will be yeah, Brunson, JB the guys. They don't mention they bring up Quick before RJ. Both of those guys will bring up Quick before RJ.
Well, Randall only talks about the team when he has a good game.
And Randall gives Quick his reps. Sometimes he never gives RJ his reps.
Well, I think I don't know. They I don't know. There's some weird brother relationship going on there with Quickly and Randall.
It's a Kentucky thing.
Yeah, it's weird. They scream. Randall yells at him, and then they're best buddies a day later. I don't know. It's all.
And then they go to Sunday mass.
Randall's not going to Sunday mass. They're not going to Sunday mass together. Okay, Quick's a Commanders fan, and Randall's a big Cowboys fan. They're enemies.
And then Joe's an Eagles fan, so we just have all of the NFC East.
Oh, speaking of football, Jeff, did you see what Russell Wilson tweeted?
No,
That's right.
He said he said God's got me excited for what's next.
Oh, nice. Look,
buddy, China is next. The XFL is next.
No, he's playing NFL.
No, you're fucking wrong, dude.
He's going to Falcons, baby.
You know what, Con? As someone who would have taken Daniel Jones over Tua to start the season, why don't you take a seat on the quarterback discussion? All right,
year 7, baby, he's coming.
Russell Wilson will start next season. And you know what? And by the way, fuck the Broncos for doing this because, dude, he had a fine season. What are they doing?
He does not deserve this at all.
Anytime you can eat $85 million in dead cap for over 2 years, you got to do it.
Give it to the Giants.
And by the way, Con knows this. I hated the Russell Wilson trade. I don't like Russell Wilson. I still have a vendetta against him because people spent 10 years trying to convince me he's better than Andrew Luck. I hated everything about Russell Wilson playing for my favorite team. And I don't want to defend him, but this is stupid. All right, let's go back to the Knicks. Talk more about that fun subject. God, what the fuck, man?
I've never seen Jeff so agitated.
But okay, by the way, we need just bring it back to Tibbs. Forgetting the Quickly part of it. This is another game where you see all his biases are so fucked. They're so fucked because his first sub today, guess what it was? Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson comes in the game. Immediate. It was an immediate 6-point run, right? Immediate, literally right then. And the Taj minutes, I think Taj was he was what, -12 tonight? Something like that. That's the game. That is literally the game.
Schwinn, that's what I wanted to say earlier. Taj Gibson was -16 in 10 minutes. Guess who played all 10 of those minutes?
RJ Barrett.
Emmanuel Quickly.
Oh, wow.
Emmanuel Quickly played all 10 Taj Gibson minutes where he was -16. It was the only guy with a plus net rating besides Hardenstein. You realize how impossible that is? And this is the thing. You said it last year, Schwinn. You were like, wait a second. How is Quickly's on-court net rating so good? He got all of the Jericho Simmons power forward minutes, which were awful. Quickly gets saddled with all this bullshit and still overcomes it. And Tibbs is like, yeah, but he's not 6'5" instead of 6'2". Oh my God, how can we play him more? Shut the fuck up, man. All right, back to you.
When Tibbs puts him in lineups with Jericho Sims and Taz Gibson, he's just like, oh, I got to make lemonade out of lemons. Like, this is what the Lord intended for me to do.
Like, it's like watching, like what was that show on Nickelodeon? It was like the what was it, Temple of Doom? I forgot the hell the name of that show was, but it was like this adventure quest thing.
It was Temple of Doom.
Yeah. And that's what it is. Like every game, it's like, okay, so last year you figured out the Taj Gibson minutes. This year, here comes Jericho Sims at the 4. Like it's constant. And
Schwinn. It was Legends of the Hidden Temple. We were thinking of the Indiana Jones movie.
Yes. Legends of the Hidden Temple. That's what it is for quickly every day or every season. But like this is a perfect game. They when Chet Holmgren went out at that point in the first half, they weren't even playing Jalen Williams at the 5. It was like some fucking, I don't even know who the hell was the 5 was in that lineup. You can just play Randall at the 5. Like, you can just play Randall at the 5 and play small against a team like this. And to put Taj in that situation where it's like, dude, the start of that fourth quarter, they were just hunting him on. It was like 4 straight possessions of just put Taj in pick and roll, put Taj in pick and roll, put Taj in pick and roll. And they got burned every fucking time. And it's like, you can't do that to him, man. Like especially in matchups where you don't need a center. Like, you did not need a center in the non-Hartenstein minutes tonight. That it is really that simple. When Hartenstein was not on the floor, you did not need fucking Taj Gibson on the floor. You could just gone Randall at the 5 and played small and started switching everything. And guess what? You want to know what? If you were fucking minus 16 in those minutes, oh no, it would have been the same fucking thing that happened today. Like, you probably wouldn't have been, because the offense would have been better, because they wouldn't be playing 4 on fucking 5, or as they were today, 3 on fucking 5, because RJ Barrett was basically not being defended today. So, like, this game raised the 2 biggest frustrations with Tibbs, and then also it's like, I think the 2 biggest reasons that there is a lot of concern, or that there's like reasons to not be bullish about the general trajectory, ceiling, whatever of the team, has to do with concerns about RJ Barrett and concerns about Tom Thibodeau. And those concerns, the specific ones that people have, were fully on display today. And yeah, it is what it is.
This thing from Jordan made me sick. Where we're in the play-in right now. I know it doesn't mean things a long.
The Knicks are going to be in the play-in standings in like a week, and people are going to freak out. And then you're going to look at the schedule, and you're going to see they've played 12 home games to 20 road games. They'll be fine.
Also,
but they've got the 10th hardest schedule remaining somehow. Cool scheduling.
Dude, I don't know how we do it. We just we have the hardest path in front of us all the time, and the only one who's brave enough to take us through there is Tom Thibodeau. He knows what he's doing.
The Knicks on the season have been outscored by 38 when Emmanuel Quickley is not on the court. Cool.
Well,
Tibbs knows what leads to wins, guys. He's doing a great job. He's got it all figured out.
I need air. I love maple syrup.
Wait, did the Nets bench?
They benched everybody today. They benched everybody.
Why? It was like a rest day or something.
Yeah. And then they asked Mikhail what he thought of it, and he was like, "I don't need rest ever." And they were like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "No, I wanted to play today. This sucks." And so,
well, they can't. It's like the Eli Manning thing. Like, Mikhail has never missed a game in his career. If they actually try to get him to sit out, he'll like demand a trade, because he probably wants to keep that streak alive as long as he can.
Yeah, and then when they did that Eli, like, they got fired afterward.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to be in here, but I'm tired, so I'm going to call it a night for myself.
All right. Yeah. Con, shoot me a text about strictly NFL stuff, especially if we're going to do that show. Yeah, just shoot me a text before you go to bed.
I got you.
This is how all our planning works, guys. You're in behind the curtain here.
Behind the curtain.
We can, I don't know, we can get some Any comments here from people? Russ is getting his ass cut in March without a doubt. Russ and Arthur Smith is going to be a holier experience than church.
Dude. Oh my God. He cannot still be the coach of that team next year. I will
He
not
will
be
be.
happy.
He will be. Russ in a Giants uniform. Might need it.
Did y'all talk about Hardenstein? I thought Hardenstein played really well.
I thought I know that I'm sure he's going to get clowned for multiple awesome Chet plays, but it's like, dude, Chet's really, really good. And Hartenstein did as much as he could do. I thought in the first half he covered for so much bullshit defensively because Randall decided to just be an asshole for the first quarter of the game. But yeah, he was really. I never have anything bad to say about Hartenstein because at this point I'm like, even when he fucks up, I know that he never fucks up because he's not trying his hardest, and like you will always live with guys like that.
Yep, agree completely.
I don't know. Is there anything else we want to get to before we finish up here? Any final thoughts about this game? Tyrese,
I need to know. I need to know, Schwinn, because I was driving home. Did you or anybody on here have a rant worth watching that I should? Not that, of course, the show's worth watching, but should I rewatch the first half hour? Will I be entertained?
I'm sure you'll be entertained. I'm not sure it was truly. I honestly, I'm gonna be. I just don't have the energy to keep. Like, I can't rant about RJ Barrett anymore. Like, what is there left to say? There's nothing left to say. Like, I can sit here and talk about Tibbs all I want, and like, I'm sorry, I just don't think this decision regarding RJ Barrett is entirely up to him, and I think there's a lot of stuff going on there. But yeah, and if you want to criticize Leon Rose for that and shit, that's fine too. Ultimately, he's the one that signed the contract and all this stuff. But like we've got to be honest about what RJ Barrett is, and like I basically just said I don't see a star with him since some point last year, whatever the fuck it was. And since that point in time, like I'm just kind of like, okay, well, can you do role player things and can you like build from there? And I was encouraged by the start of the year, but as often happens, it feels like the first 7 games were the aberration, and these last however fucking many he's played now, 18, are more of what we've seen throughout his career. And like at some point, like what the fuck else? Like we know what he is because he's been this guy for forever, for years. Like what is there to talk about there? You know, it's just boring. I don't really get it.
Can I try, despite the fact that I just yelled for 30 minutes? Can I try to close the show with just the tiniest bit of optimism? Is that allowed?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
The Thunder, one of the league's best teams, 20-9 right now, got 94 points on 35 of 54 shooting from their 3 best players. 94 points on 35 of 54 from the field. The Knicks had one of the worst rotations you'll ever see. It's not panic time. That's what I'll say. Schwinn talked about it earlier. The data is what it is. Still a good team. Still, there's still lots to be, let's just not mail it in right now. Because here's the thing. As stupid as this decision was, and it was stupid, anybody who's trying to defend it is just too dug in to think rationally. Like, it's just an indefensible, idiotic decision. But as dumb as it was, Tibbs has now shown for 3 straight years at some point, whether it's him, whether it's the front office, he figures it out when it comes to quickly. And, maybe last season it was just because of injuries, or maybe he just has to have a tipping point for whatever reason. And maybe this game's the tipping point. If Quickly is still playing under 24 minutes a game in like a month, we can revisit this conversation and be like, yeah, this is fucked. Like, this is just, the situation is untenable, and we'll talk about it then. But only, 28, 30 games in the season, not even at the halfway point. 17-13 with a top 10 net rating, one of the toughest schedules in the league, and a really good team, got really good performances from really good players. It's okay.
Yeah, look, I'm not worried about this team at all. I think they're good. I think they'll continue to be good. But and to your point about the OKC thing, like I get that. And Jalen Williams, he's awesome. He made some shots tonight that were just. It's like one of those games where you're just like, dude, what the fuck? You can't really do anything. The shot he made over Quickly, that Quickly should have blocked. He would have blocked if he was 7'3". That one was crazy. He had a couple shots over Randall and Hart that were nuts. Like, he just was fucking everywhere tonight. He was great. But like, it's just hard to like. I mean, I think this kind of speaks to the main thing is what did Hawkeye 420 said? Are we really a good team when the same issues keep happening? Yeah, I mean, look, good teams have the same issues happen to them all the time. The Celtics they've had issues in the fourth quarter for years. They've been a good team for years, and the Sixers have been a good team for years, and they can't get past the second round. So yeah, it's part of the frustration of being a good team is figuring out how to get over your issues. But look, it's just I don't know. I think it just sucks when like this is a guy who's so clearly done he's so clearly done everything that's been asked of him by this franchise, by this coach, and you're just like, man, at some point, like, can we just fucking like can we just get him? Like, does he get a reward for that? And can that reward be commensurate with his production? Like, this isn't Frank Ntilikina, okay? This is not just a guy who's like, oh, he's such a good soldier and he tries hard and we all like him. Like, yeah, Quickly's all those things. He's also really fucking good. Like, this really, really should not be that hard. And the last thing I'm just so fucking sick and tired of hearing, and anybody that says this, I might just start, I never block anybody. If you actually respond to anything I say and say this to me, you might start getting blocked, is, well, we can't sign Quickly because we signed Brunson and they're both short guards. Shut the fuck up! Oh my God, please shut the fuck up. What team, how do you operate like this? Could you imagine if an NFL team, like, oh man, we have Tyreek Hill, so we can't draft Jalen Waddle. Yeah, that makes really good fucking sense, dude. But we need a big boundary fucking big-bodied receiver to throw to. No, you don't. You need good fucking players. And then you need to figure out, do they have complementary skills? And guess what? Complementary skills can come from anywhere. Josh Hart is a fucking 6'4" wing with heavy air quotes who rebounds like a fucking, basically like a 4. And guess what? Because of that, you can play him in lineups where you give up size because he can defend up positions. Like, you can do things with these players regardless of what their size is, like their height and their wingspan and all this shit. It is a waste of time to prioritize that stuff. Prioritize good players. Prioritize shit that matters, not fucking measurables and not fucking, who was drafted at what number or who has this contract. You know what the best decision the Knicks made last year was? Benching Evan Fournier in his $17 million a year contract. Like, that was one of the best decisions they made last year. And I don't think they need to bench RJ so he never plays, but you got to seriously stop treating him like a sacred cow who has to start every fucking game, and not just start every game, but also has to hit X minutes per game, while other guys who are outperforming him don't get rewarded for it. That's bullshit. And again, I don't care if Quickly is starting or not. He needs to be playing 28 minutes a game, not because we need to see what he is, because he's earned it, because he's really good, and because the team benefits over the course of a full season massively when he's on the floor. And they do this despite, literally, go through his lineups every single year on Basketball Reference. Go look at it. 2-man, 3-man, 4-man, 5-man combinations, all of them. And go look at how positive they are. And then go cross-reference them with the Knicks' most played and, most importantly, their most successful lineups in each of those seasons. And not playing this guy more minutes is so stupid. This is honestly very similar to a lot of what the Celtics did with Marcus Smart, where they kept acquiring point guards to move him off the oh no, we got to play him on the bench, or we got to play him at off guard or whatever. And I think Quickly's a better offensive player. Whatever. I don't want to get into that direct comparison. The point is, don't look a gift what is the saying? Is it don't look a gift horse in the mouth, or what is that the
Yeah.
case? Yeah, like that's what this. Don't do what the Mavericks did. Don't do what the fucking Mavericks did, where they had this thing staring at them in the face for fucking years, and they were like, yeah, but I don't know. Is he really worth $25 million a year, guys? Like, don't do that. Don't do that, because he's going to go to another team, and I promise you that team is going to be successful, and all of a sudden, all these fucking bench minutes that you've been winning, out of your ass for no reason, go see how you do in those bench minutes when Deuce McBride is running point. Have fun with that. Like, this is not rocket science. Play your best players as many minutes as you can. Prioritize playing them together, and it's that simple. Like, it really is that simple.
Yeah, I just want to add to your point about the lineup data. Quickly's played over 500 minutes with 21 teammates across his 4 seasons, and the Knicks have won their minutes with all 21 of those combinations. They don't ever lose when he's on the court. And you'd think you'd want that, especially a coach who wants to win more than anybody and loves net rating. You'd think that like these things would create that bias in his mind. But look, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You just can't. And there's certain things he'll never be able to overcome. He's just not ever going to be able to do it. And I honestly, like, even if he starts to play him more, the first chance he gets, and maybe that'll just be the playoffs, that's going to be the first thing he looks for, because that's how the mind works, you know? So, you know, I said it earlier, you can say he's a Quickly guy. You can say Quickly's a Tibbs guy or a Tibbs player, but I promise you the first sign of things going wrong, it's going to be Quickly's size. It's going to be Quickly's inability to get to the basket, yada, yada. And all the little things, all the things that we know add up aren't going to matter as much. So, like, this is why, in my opinion, the writing's just on the wall. And, you know, I know he's a restricted free agent. I don't see the end of this tunnel ending with Quickly just quietly accepting, you know, whatever, you know, and I know the Knicks, I know that's not how restricted free agency works, but this is the most empowerment players have ever had. And I just think that he's going to, behind the scenes, just be like, hey, guys, like, please, please, I can't do this. Like, this is killing my value. And it is. It's going to cost him a bunch of money.
I don't think it's going to cost him, man. I don't. Like everybody's talking about it now. Literally, go on Twitter. Like, you got national guys talking about it at this point. The entire fucking beat, the beat's done ignoring it. Like, the amazing Knicks beat was finally asking Tom Thibodeau, like, what the fuck is going on here? And they followed up on it. They wasn't just like, oh, well, and then Tibbs gave his bullshit answer and that was that. Like, I don't think this is not, I'm sorry. Like, I would be, in the history of basketball, generally speaking, if it's down to a coach and a player, and the player is actually good, there's usually one outcome. It is either come to Jesus or get the fuck out. And that is the history of the NBA. This is not Cam Reddish. I'm sorry. This is not benching Evan Fournier and Kemba and Derrick Rose. And this is not that. You're talking about a key guy, a guy that, like, I mean, look, the Knicks employ all these nerds. They're not stupid. They know what the hell, like, happens in his minutes. You know, like, there's a reason why they've rebuffed. Jeff, come on, man. You really think coaches listen to everything analysts say? And they just, oh, that's what it is. Okay, great. Like, we have evidence. You think every NFL fucking team has thousands and thousands of nerds working for them, and you've got coaches punting on 4th and 1 at, like, the 38-yard line on a weekly basis because it's the first quarter and we can't take a chance here or something. Like
I just can't imagine after this long of this that if there were voices in the front office who feel the way that the data clearly reflects they should feel, there wouldn't be something. There wouldn't be something.
They got something last year. Like, I know you call it the fake. He played 26 minutes off the bench last year as a reserve. Like, that was his per game average as a reserve last year. You compare that to every other top 6 man of the year. It's right there. It's right there.
Yeah.
And then you factor in
and then he got a demotion.
Right, but that's not. But so that's my point, though. So why would I assume that nobody in the? I'm sure there are people in front of us 100% think value him.
I agree with you. I agree.
They're like, hey, like we need to fucking play this guy more. But it's an organization, so like, fucking there are guys that in fucking Wall Street in 2005 that were like, hey, these subprimes, not sure we should be doing those. Yeah, don't worry about that, buddy. Thanks. I'm happy you cracked the numbers, but like we got to figure it out, pal. I am positive if Quickly went to the front office, I was like, look, trade me or because this isn't even a Porzingis situation, right? You're not gonna get some massive haul for him just because of how weird his everything is, right? The valuation of Emmanuel Quickly is very weird because of how the Knicks have utilized him, his role. He obviously didn't have the cachet of being the 4th overall pick like Porzingis, who was also an all-star prior to being hurt. So it's a different thing. You're not going to get some haul for him. And the Knicks want to win games. If they're hanging out in the play-in range and the team's underperforming expectations, and then you have this thing come up, I think it's going to be like, hey, Tom, do you want to either do the thing or get the fuck out? Which is exactly what happened last year. Like, we talked about this last year at the time. There's no, it was not a coincidence that a day before he benches Derrick Rose, Evan Fournier, we got this random report out of nowhere of, Leon Rose, he backs Tom Thibodeau to the hilt, and it'll take a lot for him to fire him. And all of a sudden, it was like, wow, the Knicks are playing the youngest rotation in the league. This is really cool. And they're winning games. What a fucking surprise. The same thing will happen. All of a sudden, it will be like, oh, wow. So Quickly's playing 28 minutes a night now? That's cool. And Brunson's just, he's playing 32. That's cool. That's great. Fantastic. He's doing the thing that he does. I think he does this at the start of seasons where he's like, my starters have to do it. And he just does it. I think he's kind of done this every year, right? Where he weirdly plays his starters too much. And you're like, what if you just didn't do that? Didn't he do that with he did that with it basically every year, right? Because Quickly's minutes were weird even his second year. I mean,
for sure. Remember he played 9 minutes against the Lakers? He
got roasted by Austin Reeves, which is pathetic. Mm-hmm. Nobody's ever done that before.
Tonight's game was such it basically just shined a light on the two camps, people who understand what defensive impact is and people who are still stuck in 2005. Because there are going to be people who are like, yeah, Quickly's not a great one-on-one defender. I get it. He's not big enough to be a good one-on-one defender. But over the macro of Quickly's minutes, the defense was really good because defense isn't about one-on-one defense anymore. It's about the guys are so good that the threshold for being a really good one-on-one defender is just harder. So it's easier to foul guys. The offense has a bigger advantage. Most defensive impact comes from your ability to help teammates when they when they get in trouble. And Quickly is the best on the team at that right now with Mitchell Robinson out. He might even be the best on the team when Mitch is playing because Mitch's primary area of expertise there is around the rim, but it's not like he's flying around the perimeter helping you like that. And so it's just so short-sighted and such a misdiagnosis of what's going on to watch Quickly get quote unquote cooked one-on-one by Jalen Williams and then be like, oh yeah, that's a problem. We need someone who will guard that possession better. Because guess what? When Quickly came out of the game, that possession stopped happening because there was no help anymore. The only reason that possession happened is because all the other guys were guarded and OKC had to settle for that shot. They stopped having to settle for that shot when Quickly came out of the game because people were wide open for threes because there was no one helping guys getting beat at the point of attack. So it's
the way you turned off Isaiah Joe's water tonight was crazy.
And he was always doing it after stunting. Yeah. He would stunt and then recover onto Isaiah Joe, who's one of the best movers off the ball in the league. Isaiah Joe's a really good player. He's just not Quickly, and can't wait for tomorrow's article about, Isaiah Joe was +3 tonight. So,
Michael Penis will write that for the Ringer. I know there's one rotation. I have to find it tomorrow. I will definitely clip it if I do. he made a rotation. It was like, it might have been with Brunson Randall game. It was definitely in the first half where he like doubled somebody and they had a swing going. And I was like, oh my God, Joe's definitely going to get a wide open corner to three. And he like ran. I have no idea how he even knew to make the rotation he made. And it was insane. Like he closed out and they missed it. And I was like, what the fuck? Like it's just, that's the stuff where it's like, now, I really don't want to hear about watching the film 3 times where it's like, you can watch the film how many times you want. Like if you don't get the value of that stuff, then it is what it is. I think we can answer this last question. Do y'all think the report that they refused to offer and quickly $25 million per year reveals that they don't value as much as they should?
I think they're gonna. I mean, I think it comes down to they don't think they have to pay him $100 million because I don't think any team
million.
Million.
I thought you said billion. I was like, damn.
I would give him $100 billion. He deserves Saudi oil money. Whatever Ronaldo's getting, just give it time to get it quickly. Like the whole thing with his contract is going to be weird because, like, again, I tweeted this morning. But like the only player who was a non-all-star to change teams and get a $100 million contract is Jalen Brunson, and it took Jalen Brunson starting midway through the season, going on a playoff run when he averaged 20 points per game, winning a couple games without Luka Doncic in the lineup, getting to the Western Conference Finals, and then he had to have a unrestricted free agency clause in his contract in the 4th year of his contract. He also had to have his godfather in the office, and then Mark Cuban had to be an idiot. Like, so many factors had to happen for him to get that contract, and it was still only $4,104 guaranteed. Like, I think we need to evaluate how much teams are going to give $100 million.
I just think, sorry,
to like free agents that aren't theirs. Like, it's easier to be like, okay, we'll give $100 million to our own free agent compared to somebody who you're going to have to get for another team.
I think they made a calculation, and their calculation was like, we'll pay you this now, which I don't think they expected him to take what they were willing to offer right now. But we have your restricted free agency rights, and we will revisit this at the end of the year. And if we need to pay you whatever the hell it is that you want to get paid, then we'll pay you that. If you want to go out in restricted free agency and test the market, we can play that game too. We don't think anybody's going to come in and not make an offer for you that I guess we could refuse. So the opposite of the Godfather. But like, yeah, I just don't see it happening. And like, I know people are like, what about the Spurs? The Spurs are not an intelligent organization. Can we please stop talking about the fucking Spurs like it's 2013? They don't know what the hell they're doing. They are doing to quickly. They're doing a Trey Jones what we're doing to quickly, except it makes even less sense because they don't even have a Jalen Brunson. But like, yeah, I think that's kind of, I think there's, I feel very strongly about this. However you want to feel. I feel very strongly about this, that he's valued within the organization and that they are comfortable paying him a number that is above what they were willing to offer him this year and probably close to what he ultimately wants. But they didn't feel the need to do it right now. I think, yes, partially because it keeps their options open if something becomes available in trade. But I also think it's just because, like, we don't need to. I mean, yes, they did pay RJ, as Christopher Rier pointed out, to avoid this, but they also didn't pay Mitch. And then they brought him back. And he was an unrestricted free agent, if you remember. So, like, I think people assume a lot of the worst when deals don't get done. And I just don't think that's the case. Like, I think that's probably a reason why he has not bitched and moaned and leaked stuff to the Bondies and the underbelly of the New York press about how unhappy he is about his role in minutes and stuff. That would be my guess, and take it for whatever level of education you decide to assign.
Also, the Magic aren't doing anything. They have sucks. The Magic are not.
They just paid. They gave Cole Anthony money. They drafted Anthony Black. Like,
and they have sucks.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
And the Spurs are not smart. And Detroit is a clusterfuck right now. So
I just want to say
75 guards.
Yeah.
Tyrese, I agree with most of what you said. I just want to say that we're creating like arbitrary definitions here. like 9 figures today isn't what it was 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
but I think also 9 figures is also like a huge, like 9 figures is still 9 figures. Like I think my best example is like Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves went on a run where he was literally 17-5 on a Western Conference Finals, and nobody wanted to bite.
No, people wanted to bite. And people wanted to bite. Pelinka just called every front office and said that he would wait the entire. They were 100% going to match anything offered to him, and he would wait the entire period so that their cap was tied up, which is like evil genius level shit that Leon could do too.
Yeah, Leon can do that, and I don't see why he wouldn't. He'd be like, okay, cool. You want to play restricted, and you want to play the restricted free agency game? Great. I mean, the biggest concern everybody had was the Sixers. And if you listen to like the You Don't Know Ball podcast, which you should, friends of the pod, they actually mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but like he basically has come out and said that he's like, yeah, that was all bullshit. We wanted to make sure like Maxey was good, and now he's like, we know how good he is, so we're fine. Like the Caps plays plan is not the Caps plays plan. Like they're probably gonna end up making a trade in season and take guys in that like take money, put money on their books past the season. You know what I mean? So. That was actually my biggest concern, not the Spurs, not the Magic, like the Sixers, because yes, they're competitive. Tyrese Maxey is his good buddy. I'm sure that Daryl Morey has already fucked with the Knicks once in the past with a restricted free agency offer. And
the poison pill, the vaunted poison pill.
Right. And Daryl Morey loves to fuck with division and conference rivals historically. So that was the one that really would have concerned me, but I'm not that concerned about that anymore.
And this isn't even so much about the Sixers, although it's just kind of icing on the cake. Shout out Mark Schindler, who's a really good NBA guy if you don't follow him. He had a really good post tonight about how Brunson and Quickly are such a good backcourt together. He did like, I don't know if he showed a play or like a couple plays, but he posted their numbers. And I think one thing we're figuring out is that, there's a lot of criticism of not loving the offense when Quickly is in charge, how, the ball can stick a little bit and he can over dribble, yada, yada. And sometimes that's reasonable. Sometimes I think the ball actually moves better, but I digress. But my point is that I think what we're realizing as Knicks fans is actually Quickly's ideal role might just be like a combo guard off of a really good initiator like Brunson.
Yes.
That might actually just be his best role, and he's not a backup point guard at all. And Maxey could just be that point guard. Like maybe Quickly and Maxey would just be a really good tandem together.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they were in college, so
yeah.
I mean, look, I've thought for a while. Like my feeling about Quickly for a while has just been, not even for a while, but like since the end of last year, where it's just like I just don't give a fuck about the all-star, superstar, that argument. I just know that when you play him with those caliber of players, like they usually play really well, and the team plays really good, and good things happen. Like I don't know why that's so hard to like. It's okay. Like I know we definitely don't need to enter the full all-star debate here, but like whatever you think about Derek White, is he an all-star? Is he not an all-star? Is he this? Is he that? He has a really large impact playing off of stars. And in their absence at times, he can carry the load. And like, that's literally what Emmanuel Quickly is. Like, he's not the same exact thing. He's smaller and whatever, but he is similar, but he's a different type of player and guard in some ways. Yeah. But the impact and what his role is might be the same thing. And that's okay. It sounds actually pretty fucking great.
Yeah, it would be really good. White's been incredible this year. We don't have to talk about it, but one weird thing he's good at that I don't think Quickly has is he gets blocks all the time. What the fuck is that? Like the last 10 games I've looked at, he has like multiple blocks in every game. How tall is he? Is he like 6'5"?
6'4".
Yeah, it's wild. This year the Celtics with Derek White on and Jason Tatum off are plus 14 per 100. With Tatum on and White off, they are plus 0.29 per 100. Fun fact. I mean, White should be an all-star instead of Tatum. I know that's not how it works, but the Derek White all-star discussion is such a joke to me. Like right now, this second, if you think he's not actually this good, he's going to regress. Okay, I can't argue with that. He's running hot. That's fine. But if we're literally just talking about this set of games, there's just no argument that he's not an all-star. I don't get it. How can he's 6th in the league in EPM? Like, what are we? I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to have this argument about this, but I just don't understand. I don't understand the people who are just like, well, I decided he wasn't an all-star before the season, so it's impossible. Like, that's just so weird to me. He's been everything to that team. He's clearly been the most valuable player on the team so far this season, and they're the best team in the league by far. I wouldn't trade Jalen Brunson for him. I think Brunson's a better basketball player overall. I think Brunson is younger. Like, all those things. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if we're judging these 30 games, I don't think there's an actual rational argument for keeping Derek White off the All-Star team. But we can revisit this in 20 games if he's regressed, and I will change my opinion if that comes to be true.
My argument is that Derek White is a piece of shit who plays for the Celtics. I think that fucking fuck off forever.
That's all that needs to be said.
And also, fuck them. They get enough shit. They got 6th man of the year. They won the most fraudulent ass fucking defensive player of the year.
Dude.
Fuck Derek White and his whack ass fucking bald head. Eat shit.
You're spitting now. You're speaking my language now. Obviously,
fucking Jaylen Brown got All NBA for what? For what? Because he can't dribble left? Get the fuck out.
Why? Okay, so why isn't more of the? Because Jaylen Brown's gonna be an all-star. Why aren't people madder about that? That's way a bigger joke than Derek White being an all-star. Why don't we get mad about that?
I'm mad about all of it. Why?
I'm just saying there seems to be a lot more anger about. There seems to be a lot more anger about Derek White being on the All-Star team.
I'll be honest. I don't want to watch Derek White in an All-Star game. I don't want to watch Derek White in an All-Star game. I'm not trying to watch fundamental basketball. Like, oh, look at this. I'm sorry. Like, oh, wow, look at the way Derek White helped off this rotation. It's the fucking All-Star game. Nobody's doing that shit, bro. We're all there to watch cool shit. Honestly, I don't even watch the All-Star game. First of all, second of all, I'm not trying to vote for Derek White. They can get 2. I don't care who it is. They can get 2 because they're the best team in the conference. They don't need any more than 2. And Porzingis definitely doesn't deserve it because he didn't play enough games. And Drew Holiday is can't dribble and sucks ass. And I will get my revenge when the playoffs start, when he pisses his pants, and me and Tyrese will dance on his grave.
These are all well and good. My only 2 comments are, like, if we're gonna have like a rational discussion about who deserves, like, that's different. Like, there are people who literally are like laughing at the idea that he deserves to be an all-star. 1. Number 2, Schwinn, I want you to remember the words you just said when Emmanuel Quickley is one day in all-star discussions, and people are laughing at the little impact things that we know he does.
That's different. He's a good person. Derek White's not a good person.
All right, touche.
Real.
But like, no, it's just look. I actually tend to agree. Like, yes, fine, Derek White can be the all-star now, but you know it's going to be 3 of them. If Derek White goes, it's going to be 3, and that's bullshit. They don't deserve 3. Jaylen Brown, I don't care how many fucking athletic articles come out with interviews with him about, oh, I'm really seeing the floor so well this year. Shut the fuck up, dick. Fucking loser. All right. Anything that you guys want to plug before we get out of here, Tyrese?
I'm going to plug Tyrese's Twitter. Dude, he's fucking hilarious. I literally turned his notifications on. Dude is a machine.
I tweet the best when I'm inspired. Starting a petition. I need. You remember like that 2014 thing where they tried to kick Justin Bieber out of America because of like his legal troubles? I think I might have to resurrect that. I'm gonna start a change.org petition. It's gonna be. I'm going to force the Knicks front office to make a trade with RJ Barrett. Just watch out for that on Twitter. That's all I have to say.
But my last thing I just need to say this, Jeff, before we get out of here. I just, for the first time in forever, I was just randomly at ESPN on because I was watching the end of this stupid ass bowl game. And they went to SportsCenter, and the headline for the Russell Wilson story was "Westbound and Down," which I thought was really funny.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They're good at those. There's another thing that they're really good at is posting screen grabs of like Stephen A. Smith mid-rant and like having funny like baity headlines to get you to watch the video. And Stephen A. Smith is always making the funniest face. Like at least once a day, I'll see a Stephen A. Smith face that'll make me laugh, and I'm like, all right, you're doing your job, Steve. Keep up the good work. You know, you're making me laugh once a day.
All right. Sorry.
I'm writing a recap of some sorts for Strickland, and I'm doing the thread for tomorrow's game, which anybody who listens to this knows what it's going to be about, obviously. So stay tuned for those things. I'd appreciate if you showed them whatever, told me what you think about them, told me you hate them, told me you like them. We appreciate everyone here at Strickland. Y'all are great. Y'all are the reason we do this. Thank you to everyone who stays tuned in. Ranting is fun. It would be less fun if y'all weren't here to experience it with us.
Yes. Thanks, everybody. Hope everybody had a great Christmas and has a happy New Year. But I guess we'll see you for the New Year. I will plug this. Sign up for Playback if you have not done so already. We do have a room on there now. And me and Zach will be hosting a viewing of the Pacers game on Saturday night, where Tyrese will be looking forward to hopefully getting his comeuppance or his revenge. One of those things will happen in that game. But we'll call it the Tyrese Bowl. I mean, that'll be how we spam it.
With Obi moved to the bench, we're finally going to figure out who is more responsible for the bench unit stuff. Obi versus Quickly. Oh my God! This is what does he say in Dark Knight? This is an unstoppable object meets a
unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
There it is. Yeah, who's going to win the battle?
Obi is very movable. About this summer.
Jeff going to change his Twitter handle to Emmanuel Brunson in 2 months. Let's go. Let's get it.
I think I just can't change. I think I'm locked in. I don't know. I go back and forth all the time, but
I did really like when you got asked about that on SNY. That's like, dude, what the fuck is your handle?
Yeah, he was so. Oh my God! And one guy shows up in the comments and was like, shows how much he knows about ball if Frank Ntilikina is one of his favorite players. And I think he thought like he was roasting me. And I just, whenever people do stuff like that, I always try to kill him with kindness. And so I was like, I think I said something like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Thanks for watching. And he just responded and was like, oh no, dude, you did a really good job, actually. Nice job. And I was like, hell yeah. You're damn right I did.
Oh man. All right. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. Again, thanks everybody for rocking with us in the comments. Please hit like, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so. That's our show for today. Thanks to our sponsor, Bet Online. You guys are so great. You're the best. And we will see you on Friday.